Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Boobies and Noobies, the podcast that asks novice romance readers to think outside the dick in a box and brave the unbridled world of erotica. I'm your host, Kelly Reynolds, and today marks the third episode and third day of the Boobies and Noobies holiday special, also known as the 12 Days of Boobsmas. That's right, 12 holiday stories, 12 holiday mini-pods, and 12 holiday giveaways, one of which will be happening today. So joining me today for the third part of the boobylicious merriment is one of my good friends and former co-workers. She's a writer. She's a post-production coordinator. She is the fabulous Raquel Lucero. Welcome, Raquel.
Aw, thank you. That's such an amazing introduction. I feel like I don't deserve it.
Oh my gosh, of course you do. You are deserving of that and more.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited to have you here. We've talked about having you here for a while now, and we've just never found the right time.
No.
And here you are, just in time for the holidays.
I know, God. I feel like I'm not the biggest holiday person, and I've never read a romance novel, so I think the two...
So you got the double whammy.
I got the double whammy, but no regrets.
And we will talk about this, but you went hard with this one. Like, you not only got romance, you got, romance. Like,
I know, the first book that I chose, it was long, and I just never was able to get to it. And then for this one, you're like, let's do a holiday one.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let's do it. Something short and something raunchy.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious.
And
I want to see how dirty it can get.
We did pretty well, I think, with our selection of if you're going off of how raunchy can it get and how Christmassy can it get, this one is it for you.
For sure.
As this is our holiday special, we are not only focusing on Christmas-themed romances, but also on holiday traditions, favorite recipes, favorite Christmas moments, dirty encounters with Rudolph, whatever they might be. Do you have any favorite holiday traditions, family traditions you do during Christmas? I know you're not a big holiday Christmas person in general, but how do you guys celebrate?
Well, my family's all really big on Christmas, to be completely honest.
Oh, so it's just you.
It's just me.
So did you connect with the character in this book at all, too? Because she, from the very get-go, is like anti-Christmas Grinch bitch.
I've most definitely been in her shoes before. Yeah, what'd you call her?
Anti-Christmas Grinch bitch.
Yeah, no, pretty much. Yeah, no, like my family, we're all like a huge, big Mexican-American family, so Christmas is like even though we see each other like all year long, it's just like another excuse to like be with everybody at once.
And how many is everybody? Like how many of you gather?
Like for my mom's side of the family, like Christmas Eve, our tradition is to make tamales. Oh. And so there's probably like on a really big Christmas day, it's maybe like 24 of us.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Like crammed in my mom's house in the kitchen. Cooking. And there's like cooking. Yeah, everybody's cooking. Like my mom's on the stove. And then all the cousins and myself sit at the table doing the actual like corn husk and like.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So that sounds loud and sweaty. That's like what I'm hearing.
Loud, sweaty, lots of alcohol. Kids are usually like in the living room watching movies or playing dominoes. Like, yeah.
And so that's Christmas Eve. What happens on Christmas?
Christmas Day, we when I was younger, like when I was like really little, we used to wait till midnight to open presents.
Oh, nice.
And then my sister had kids, and then she's like, "No, Santa's real, so we can't do that." So we would now our tradition is like Christmas Day, we just wake up really early and do like presents with my sister's kids, and then we all open our presents, and then we visit grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles all day.
Oh my God. So do you go multiple places on Christmas?
Like 4 or 5 stops.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's okay. See, and I thought I had a hectic Christmas because we do Christmas at my parents' house with just the 3 of us, just mom, dad, and me, and the dog, of course. And then we go to dad's side of the family for like Christmas brunch. And then we go to mom's side of the family for Christmas dinner. But it's
like an all-day thing.
Oh my God, it really is. Yeah, but I like the idea of also like splitting it up and doing something on Christmas Eve. But yours sounds like it's just like go, like
it's
all
a
day.
48-hour thing.
Oh boy.
And then That's not including my boyfriend's side of the family, so we still put that in.
Well, no wonder you're not a Christmas person. You never get to celebrate it. You just have to keep going in the car.
I know. No, it's really, I do love it. Like, the actual Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, like, I will never take those moments for granted.
Yeah.
Just the building up, you know? It's it gives me a little anxiety sometimes.
And stress.
It's a little stressful sometimes, but when it comes down to it, I do like it.
Now, you grew up in Southern California. Do you ever find that factors into it at all? Like, because we don't have the typical holiday weather and sights and smells of Christmas?
I guess so. I've always been bitter that I've never had a white Christmas.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think one of my most memorable Christmases was, it was like 90 degrees on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but it was Christmas.
Yeah. There's no avoiding it.
No,
there you go.
Sunny California. Christmas.
Always. So you can never expect anything different.
I'll take it though. It's home.
It's home. And then you know what? There you go. That's what really matters for Christmas. Okay, let us talk about this fabulous book that we will be discussing today. But first, a promo for one of my favorite podcasts, NRI Woman Podcast.
Even though we live abroad, as women of Indian origin, we have a common thread that binds us together because of our strong cultural background. NRI Woman is a platform for women to share their stories and experiences on various topics. Our podcast is about inspiring NRI women and their amazing stories.
Some of the stories we've covered include growing up in a joint family in India, adopting a child as a single woman, and rebuilding one's life after the loss of a child. Take a listen. We hope you'll be inspired or learn something new. I'm Bettina.
And I'm Lenora, and we're the voices behind NRI Woman Podcast. We're all heart.
Just look for NRI Woman wherever you get your podcasts or find us at nriwoman.com. New episodes come out every Monday. Make sure you subscribe.
And now back to the book. Today's reading selection is Bossy Christmas Party, a steamy older man CEO office romance. Whew, that's a mouthful. By Mia Madison. It's not a novel, but rather a standalone novella. It's only about 130 pages. It was published in November 2016 and is available on Amazon for the decent price of $2.99 Kindle edition. There you go. If you're looking for a quick, hot, steamy, slightly ridiculous read, this is the one for you. So before we talk about more deets about the book, how about we discuss your history with romance? Had you ever read a romance novel or a novella leading up to this one?
I have never read a romance novel. The closest thing I ever got to like this kind of like sexual romantic content was like in the book of a Charles Bukowski book, but that's like he's like an older man. And his sex events and experiences were like a lot more realistic than this book will ever be.
Oh my God, that's so funny though.
Yeah.
Because we read Bukowski in college.
Yeah, he was a very sexual man, you know. The man was a poet, but his his sex rendezvous were, you know, with women probably double his age and half his age and just all over the place.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean,
it almost matches, you know, the character in this book, though, like the CEO.
That's true. Which it's funny because, and we can talk about that, but I know it's listed as a steamy older man CEO office romance, and I just like never was picturing him as like an older man as I was reading it.
I thought he was just a really young professional. I don't know.
Yeah, I was channeling like the Christian Grey, like 50 Shades sort of thing where he's like 27, 28 and just has like this empire that you're like, how did that happen? Yeah. But anyway, enough about that. What do you normally read?
I read a lot of like nonfiction. I also like just biographies in general.
Nice.
Like I said, Charles Bukowski, Hunter S. Thompson. What else have I read? A lot of sci-fi books too. Yeah. So this is really out of the realm that I'm comfortable with.
Good. That's what I want. I want to definitely bring people into a new universe for them with reading romance, whether you like it or not.
Well, I was curious. I was very curious, and so it worked out because then I kind of had an excuse to.
Yeah.
I almost feel embarrassed to read them. Maybe that was my problem. And then when you came with this idea, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Why did you feel embarrassed to read them?
I always thought they were going to be really dirty and like...
Well, and maybe this wasn't the one to prove you wrong either, because this one definitely was filthy with a capital F.
Yes, most definitely.
But they're not all as filthy.
As you've told me.
Yes. So maybe you'll just have to keep reading.
No, I think I'm hooked on this kind now, though. I think I need to read
okay.
the second part of it. And
Good.
yeah.
All right, this is what I want to hear. I love this. Perfect. Okay, well, so we can get down and have plenty of time for the dirty, let me give you the not so brief Amazon synopsis for this short novella. Starting here. I'm only the office temp, so hardly surprising an invite to the office party is forgotten. But being dumped with overtime while the staff gets into full-on debauch has me steaming. And starving. When I hide out in the CEO's office to enjoy a stack of pilfered snacks, the last person I expect to see is him. The guy in the $5,000 suit who butted in line this morning. He's exactly the kind of billionaire asshole I love to hate, and I didn't hesitate to tell him off. Now he's here with his smoking hot body, and he's not about to let me off the hook. He has a different kind of overtime in mind. Oh God, it's wrong and hot. But he's so gorgeous with a power I can't resist. There's only one thing I want this Christmas, but what happens when the party's over? And here's the last little description. It says, this is a standalone novella with complete satisfaction guaranteed. So wring out your panties and strap on your bondage suit and gift yourself this taboo forbidden fantasy between the CEO and the temp. Enjoy. I like that last little addition.
That's pretty good.
Oh boy. Okay. So what do you think? Does the synopsis kind of match what we get into here?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's pretty spot on. Like they're just leaving out the details.
Which is good, because I feel like we have read some before where either the synopsis is just not focusing on what the book is really about, or it tells you the entire fucking book, like in the synopsis. So this is good. It definitely leaves some to the imagination.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so with this book, what were some of the things you liked?
Honestly, there were so many parts of the book that I was just like, no, this doesn't happen. This is never gonna happen. Can it happen? No. I don't know. The parts that I liked, she's very sassy. She's like very, against, the man in power kind of thing. Like,
yeah, she being our protagonist, whose name is Georgia Jury, which, by the way, I wrote down as like, ooh, very Law and Order Atlanta.
Oh yeah, and I think, I don't know, the way I'm sure, like, the way that I picture him saying it to her too is just like super sexy, like just cute name.
Yeah,
Georgia
it's fun.
Jury.
It's quick. It's to the point.
Yeah,
it
kind of porn starry.
You gotta have those short names in romance so they can say the whole name at once. Georgia Jury, reporting for duty.
So I liked her at first. I feel like I kind of related to her. I honestly didn't think that she was going to be this like hot, voluptuous woman that is described in the book either. Just like I didn't expect him to be so much older than he actually was. So those kind of things kind of threw me off, but also like brought me back in because I could actually like visualize what they look like. Just two hot people doing it, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much how most of these books go.
Yeah.
I personally found the tone of the author. I've never read anything from Mia Madison before, but I did like her tone mostly throughout the book. Like, it was kind of playful. One of the moments I thought was cute was when Georgia sees Mr. Wellman, that's the CEO billionaire, for the first time. She's standing in line at a deli, and she, in her inner monologue, says, "I can safely say he is the most delectable, lickable hunk in the history of all things sexy." I was like, that's fun. I like that. Like, it definitely had, I feel like at moments, a very like millennial vibe.
Oh yeah,
like,
I got that too.
Yeah, like Georgia was very millennial as a character too, because I like simultaneously loved how empowered she was and like was, always
outspoken.
Yeah, always outspoken. But then at the same time, she also felt at times very entitled, selfish. I mean, my first impression of her was like they introduce her as her being like, oh, yeah, my dad made me take this job. Like, oh, it's so awful. I hate Christmas. I hate working. I've been out of college for like a year almost and I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, okay, so you suck. Like, you're selfish, you're lazy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got too. I'm like, if I were like a friend of yours, I actually wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would not be a friend of hers. I think
Right.
she sounds lazy as fuck and she doesn't sound like she has any motivation.
No, and she's super negative in like all of her like conversations with people. But there would be moments where I'm like, okay, I do like what you're saying though. Like she's standing in line at the beginning to buy, by the way, this ticked me off so much that she's standing in line at a deli to buy an $11 container of macaroni salad. And that's
she's eating it in line though.
Yeah.
But I love that part.
I like that.
She's eating
and then
in
she
line.
gets on Mr. Wellman's ass for like cutting in line. And like, she doesn't know who he is, but she's like, yo, I've been waiting. Like, we've all been waiting.
While the line of people are just like gaga over him.
Yeah, because he's just so what is it? He's so delectable, lickable, hunky. But
perfect jawline.
Yeah, so I liked her, but I also hated her at the same time. So that was like both good and bad for me.
Yeah, it would take me into the story because there are moments where I'm like, that's kind of how I would feel. Or I would say that. Like,
sure.
If some guy cut and no one else said something, I'd probably say something.
Good.
Limo outside or not.
Yeah, right.
That was
like,
one thing that threw me off.
his town car's waiting.
Or was it a town car?
I don't know, something
like a
pretentious.
Yeah, exactly. Double parked.
So, okay, there's another thing is let's talk about the male character of Mr. Wellman, who we do find out his first name at some point in the book. She even asks him, she's like, what's your name anyway? And when he starts sending her these presents and stuff, that's a whole other story.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the cards he signs has his name, and that's like, his present to her. Here you go. Here's my real name. I don't even remember what it is.
I can't.
Yeah, we'll just go with Mr. Wellman.
The one thing that I know was kind of... well, when they first meet, she doesn't know his name. She doesn't know his name in the deli. She doesn't know his real name in the office.
She doesn't know he's the CEO.
She doesn't know any of that kind of stuff. She's just like, she's so attracted to him, but she also hates him at the same time.
Yeah.
And she doesn't find out until they are already intimate.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't find his name until after that.
Yep.
So that was like, girl, how are you going to do stuff with somebody you don't even know? That's kind of exciting, though.
Yeah.
If that happened to me, I'd be like, I think I'd be mad at myself, but it'd also be like a great story to tell.
Well, and it kind of goes along with she's working at this company as a temp, and for some reason, I guess one of my biggest issues was I had so many believability problems with this book. And I know it's a fantasy and I know it's romance, but it wouldn't even be about the romance. It would be about like they're having this baller Christmas party in the office, mind you, and
people are having sex in the hallway.
Yes, and like they're photocopying their vaginas.
Oh yeah, there's
like,
a line for it. There's a line and
handing them out.
I think the funniest thing was, they're having this whole company party. She's like in this back room and she's starving, and she's working overtime.
And they're making her work.
They're making her work, and she's the temp, so she's not invited. But she's like, screw it, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go take advantage of the food that's out there, and I'm gonna run back to my office and do work.
I can get on board with this.
Exactly, I would do that too. I also thought it was really rude that they didn't invite her.
Yeah, or that they're making her work too. Like the fact that they would trust all this work to a temp would like automatically mind boggles me.
Would not happen. But anyway, she goes out to go grab some food, and she's a hungry girl. I appreciate it. And then she's like trying to eat it, and she tries to like hide in the copy room, and that's where she runs into everybody photocopying their asses.
She goes to the bar, and like people are hitting on her and ordering all these like nasty sounding drinks.
And that was pretty funny. I'm like, imagine at work. I can imagine like going to my company work party and seeing people have sex in front of me. I wouldn't be able to look at them the same.
Yeah, and that's
Granted, she's a temp, so she doesn't, but it's like, that's not what happens.
But everyone was so chill about it, too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was everybody. And what kills me is you find out that, like, the boss, Mr. Wellman, he's upstairs. Like, he's in his office the whole time, just like, yeah, whatever. Like, let them do what they want to do. Let them have fun.
Yeah, the one person she, like, encounters the most at this office is, I guess, the receptionist or something. And the day of the party, she kind of tells her, like, oh, we're having a party, and Mr. Wellman has, like, a roast. And, like, I thought, like, food, like, he's going to have a roast and everybody's going to eat together. Turns out he's, like, this really hip boss, and he lets his employees roast him.
Yeah.
And talk crap and call him out on stuff. And I thought that was funny. But it was also, like, me, like, oh, I did not expect that at all. Not the roast, I thought.
Well, and it's just, I mean, there's always, in movies and TV shows, there's always, like, the holiday office party is, like, off the hook and everything. Yeah. And I can buy into that. Like, the minute you throw in alcohol into a stressful environment, like, obviously things are going to happen. But it was, like, it was crazy. Like, it was just out of this world insane.
Yeah. And then the funniest part is she tries to go back to her little cave in the back, like the little office room, and people are doing it in there. And she gets kicked out of her office, basically.
All over.
And so she goes upstairs to the CEO's office to find some sanctuary, and that's where she runs into Mr. Wellman.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know it's Mr. Wellman. She doesn't know his name. She doesn't know who he is.
She's like, damn, it's that fine man from the deli.
Exactly. Whom I hate.
God. And they have not one, but 2 sexual encounters with mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things that really ticked me is when she first meets him in the deli.
And he touches her.
He wipes the corner of her mouth because it has mayonnaise on it. And I'm just like, she just went on this spiel about how nobody should get to cut in line. She's a strong-ass, powerful woman. And I'm like, you are going to let a strange man wipe your face? Like,
she enjoys it.
Yeah.
She fully enjoys it, too.
So, and I guess that was kind of, it was hard for me to buy into that. Was just like, although I do understand that is a real kink and that is people who, sometimes are very strong in real life, like to be dominated in the bedroom, or some people live in this permanent dominant submissive relationship. And so I guess that was kind of one of my questions about the book, was I couldn't figure out what their dom sub relationship was.
Yeah.
Because like, he's clearly a very dominant businessman and also a dominant sexual partner. Yeah. But when it comes to her, she also seems very dominating as a person. And then it's just in the bedroom that she's like submissive and likes to be, tied up and gagged and all this. So I don't know. There just seemed to be like some inconsistencies for me there. It did remind me a lot of like the relationship in 50 Shades of Grey, where, he has this woman that he's like not necessarily used to. Like, she doesn't just bend to his will for like everything he wants. So I kind of got the impression that that's where maybe Mia Madison was going with it, but I don't know. Like, and then the second half of the book seems like a completely different book to me.
Yeah, it just takes such a weird turn. Like, can we get into the moments where like they actually start doing that?
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like that's when things get really weird for me.
Yeah, because the first hookup is in the office, right?
It's in the office, and there's like a private bathroom, and there's like a double-sided mirror.
Oh my God, how gross was that?
Yeah, I was not okay with that. I was not okay with that at all.
No, that was not cute, because I just remember the part where before they have sex, they're like gonna have sex, and he's got her like chained up in his closet whatever.
He puts her in the closet,
and then he leaves her there,
and she's like, I can't.
Leaves.
Like, if he closes the door, I won't be able to breathe.
Yeah, and he does, and he leaves. And then I remember another part. I don't remember the order of events because they fuck round the clock in this book, but yeah. I just remember her also being in the bathroom, and she goes to the bathroom to like clean up. And this is like,
she has like a mini fantasy of like him being in the bathroom
with
her.
And so she's like touching herself.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, I saw you touching yourself in the bathroom through my two-way mirror. What?
But this is also, okay, so after that, after she doesn't know that she's being watched.
Yeah.
She like comes out, and it's like this young dude her age, trying to hit on her.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's that,
He, like, comes back a few times.
he tries a few times, and she's just not into it.
Mm-mm.
He's not mature enough for her. He, like, orders some, like, stupid sex drink at the bar, and I think that's what immediately turned her off. But he finds her in the office, and he, like, kind of lures her down, and she's like, fuck it, I'll go. The other guy, Mr. Wellman's gone. Or he's gone.
Yeah.
So I might as well just get a drink. So she goes to the bar and gets a drink with him. They order something silly. But then she goes to the bar with him, and then Mr. Wellman kind of, I guess, what is he? He's, like, flirting with her, the coworker, and Mr. Wellman, like, calls the whole party, like, on a halt. And
right.
He's like, get your hands off her. And then he, like, takes her upstairs as everybody watches. Like, everybody's watching him take the temp up to his office.
Right.
What do they think's going to happen?
Exactly.
They know it's going to happen.
And she does too, and she's okay with it. She's like, yeah. Well, and then, okay, that was another issue for me is she's very sex positive and like, I want to fuck some guy. Like, I love it. I'm like, you get it, girl.
Oh, yeah. She's like, I haven't had sex since college.
That was my other thing, though, is that at the same time, this is a romance. I'm expecting people to fall in love. And so it seemed like she was in it whether it was him or not. Like, she's just like, I just need to have sex. Like, I haven't gotten laid in like a year. I need to do it. And so that's why I was kind of like, okay, well, we go from you wanting to hook up with this hot boss of yours to like, oh, I guess I'll take this other guy. He seems fine. Like, and then
she's desperate.
Yeah, she just really did seem very desperate at times. And although I loved that in her inner thoughts, she would like talk very dirty. Like the narration was very dirty. And I feel like you don't get that as often from a female point of view in books. Like you'll get the guy saying something or thinking something like, yeah, I want to shove my dick in her, you know, or whatever. But she I picked out a point where, here's one example. She says, and this is in her inner thoughts, and I need a cock inside me. My rabbit is doing the deed of getting me off, but somehow it's not the same as a real live prick gliding inside me. The aroma of masculine neck as he burrows through my hair, across my ear and cheek and mouth. I mean,
that's some dirty stuff.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay,
that's some graphics.
Here we go, you know. So I really did like, you know, since we're on the topic of things we liked, I did like that.
I did too. I appreciate it. I felt like, and that's so funny because like this is my first book that I've read like this. So I'm like, they're not like all that? They're not like that?
There's definitely a lot of raunch in romance, like depending on, you know, what you're reading. But
I feel like that's what I would expect.
You don't, like, I feel like you don't.
Let me visualize it.
Yes. Like, but I feel like normally when you have those words like cock, pussy, dick, like it's usually not from the female point of view. It's usually from the men's point of view.
What do they usually say? Vagina?
Like, oh, he's so big. I feel him in me. Like,
not like but, I feel his cock in my lips and my juices.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they say.
My juices. Yeah, there's definitely you'll get some juices. But and you know when they're actually having sex or doing something sexual, she'll like come out of her shell and say, "Yeah, fuck me." Like, but other than that, it's like that'll be the moment where she gets dirty. But then in this book, she was dirty like start to finish. Like she knew she wanted to get some. And so I did really appreciate that.
I honestly do feel like they were a good duo just because like I felt like they had the same sex drive, which I felt that was good. Realistic. I felt like that was probably something I could believe.
Do you believe that they fall in love?
Fuck no.
Yeah, me neither. That was one of my issues.
One of the lines from the book, I feel like that sums up like my disbelief for the situation. And my criticism for her is this. Just, I know nothing about him except he had a headache at lunchtime and he does whatever he wants. Takes whatever he wants. What he wants now is my tits naked. And she gives it to him. Yeah. This woman who was in line talks shit to him, continuously talks shit to his face. She's just so willing to just bear all. Yep. All right. I get. Okay. All right.
They bang a lot in his office that night at the Christmas party.
Actually.
Or is it just the one time?
They don't even have sex the first night. And the weirdest thing that he says is I guess he's pleasuring her. And I think he's still, like, fully clothed, and she's, like, naked, and he's like, don't trust me, you're gonna get a cock in you somehow, even if it's not mine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Even if it's not yours, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and she even remarks on it in her narration later. She's like, what the hell did that mean?
Yeah, because he leaves her. That was the fucked up thing.
That's right. They hook up, but they don't actually have sex.
Yeah,
he leaves her.
Yeah, he leaves her. Someone comes to the office, and he puts her in the closet with, like, a gag and, like, some kind of device on her.
Yeah.
So she's, like, getting pleasured in the closet while he has someone sitting in his office chair. And then he leaves her to go get roasted by his employees. Yeah. Which is, I don't know, 30 minutes. I mean,
there's kinky, but then there's just also being, like, shitty. And to me, I was like, that is shitty. Like, you are leaving somebody there.
And then it gets worse because he comes back and he's like, get dressed.
Yeah, and leave.
Get dressed, and
That's
he takes her home.
So I'm trying to think of when they actually start boning then, because...
It's the next day. And
of course, because she got over it that quickly.
I think he, like, sends a present to her house or her office. And it's her office.
And the shoes are the first one, right?
The shoes are the first thing. And some knickers, some pantyhose.
So this was something that I thought was cute that I feel like could have been a whole different book. Is
the presents.
In the second half of the book, after they've had this Christmas party, he starts sending her presents as, like, the 12 days of Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's
the
right.
12 presents of Christmas.
Some are slutty, some are actually, I think she says, like, she gets a beautiful coat.
Well, and here's my problem with the presents he sends her, is they are all very materialistic.
And stuff he wants to see on her. Like,
yes.
I feel like that was weird.
It's like Louis Vuitton shoes, it's a beautiful coat, it's sexy lingerie. He sends her, like, 4 pairs of shoes, first of all. I'm like, really, like... No offense, but me and Madison, we couldn't have thought of one other present he could have sent her, But, yeah, it's...
Some stocks in the company.
But so that was the one where I was like, this is your opportunity where you could show them falling in love, is if he was sending things personalized for her.
Yeah. And I guess... in a weird way, she felt they were. I don't know. I think the first couple, she's like, oh, he wants to see me in this. All right.
Yeah.
But I think she actually started to enjoy it, which I think kind of like I lost a little respect for her because I could actually tell that she's materialistic. And
that's when it went back to, like, bad, bitchy millennial Georgia Jury.
Like, she's the kind of girl that strikes me like if she can get away with never working, she won't.
Yeah.
And if she can have a sugar daddy, she will.
So there was a Lifetime movie on the other night called Sugar Daddies, which I totally watched all the way through. But it was basically, it was a college girl, 21 years old, and she, like, meets this guy who's, like, in his mid-50s at a bar, and they just begin this, like, very call girl type relationship where he helps pay her bills, he buys her a car, he buys her shoes and stuff, and she just bones him. And but after I read this and then I saw that and then I went back to my notes for this and I was like, ooh. Like, that's one of my main criticisms of this book is I don't think you see them falling in love. And that's definitely an issue when it's a shorter book. Like, I realize that you don't have a lot of pages to do that, but I've read plenty of novellas that have. And this one seemed more of like a just sexy affair type story. But then in the end, he's telling her he loves her. She's telling him she loves him. Yeah, they are getting married.
Like, all right, I guess. Because he does talk to her parents, which shocked me.
But we never see them together, like, except when they're having sex. Yeah. Until he takes her on their little vacation.
It doesn't end.
Yeah.
Oh, they end up having sex for the first time in her office or whatever.
Yeah.
While she's working.
I think
it's her, like, last day of work or her, like, week before.
Yeah, because she's only working, like, through the holidays.
Yeah, so she's almost done. And then
basically just keep having sex at the office, right? Because it's like she's not really going to his house.
Yeah, no.
And he's not going. He goes to see her at her house to, like, apologize and, like, meet her parents and everything. But they're not really seeing each other outside of work.
No, they're not having dinner. They're not having lunch. They're not having conversation.
And then he whisks her away on vacation.
Oh, yeah, with the suitcase.
Yeah.
Filled with bathing suits.
that he
wants to
picked
see.
out. Or his personal shopper.
God.
Yeah, I mean,
Andrea, his assistant or whatever she is, secretary.
This one, though, is definitely, like, if you're looking for variety in sex, like, and you want to see some, like, raunchy stuff, and there's tying up, there's
butt plugs.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of everything going on in 130 pages. So well done, Mia Madison. Okay, well, enough waiting. We might as well get right to the sexy bits. So I've got one, and this is one of the gifts that Mr. Wellman sends Georgia, is like this weird harness bodice kind of thing. Like, I'm picturing just like lots of straps all over her body, basically. Like, you just have to rearrange the straps on you, but there's like no fabric in between.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a sexy mummy, but with pieces of wrap missing.
A sexy mummy. Perfect. I'm sure that's what he was going for. So there's 2 excerpts from here that I have to read, and it starts with, half an hour later, I'm buckled into a harness that scoops my tits and my clit, pressing them forward. The metal clasp sits in the hollow between my forced up and shoved out breasts, the flesh squeezed and molded into a presentation that soaks through my folds and make me wet between my thighs. Oh my gosh. And they don't even have sex here, but I just have to say, here's the end of this chapter. This one garment that has me trussed up tighter than my mom's 20-pound Christmas turkey makes erotic desires flood through me. The straps from my breasts lead up to collar my throat into multiple strands of halter. I can't even imagine what Mr. Wellman is going to do to me, but I can't wait any longer to find out. Oh, trussed up tighter than mom's turkey.
Oh my god. See, it was things like that I was like, I'm going to have a hard time talking about this book with you without some alcohol in me.
Well, good thing we're on mimosa number 2.
Yes. But very detailed, very descriptive, very real.
I mean, it's good.
Like.
It's good writing.
I loved it. I'm like, I could picture every single thing right now.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
No, I really do. Like, I am actually really interested to read something else by Mia Madison. Like, I will check her out and see what else she's got. But anyway, that was just a sexy excerpt. I'm counting on you to give us a sexcerpt.
Okay. Well, going back to how he said that he wanted to, like, or that she was going to get a cock in her, whether it was his or not.
Yes, good.
And then when she finally goes back to that thought, I think it's like the first or second time they have sex, or maybe before. Either way, it starts off with, I recall how he promised to fill me with his cock that maybe wasn't his, and I'm still confused by that statement. Another delicious spanking rains across my hole, and then slap, slap, slap on my burning cheeks. My panties are down around my thighs, and I'm bent bare-assed over the desk for my boss, playing headmaster. It's the filthiest and most divine thing ever. I don't want it to ever stop, except my body's gonna explode any second. My orgasm is forcing its way into my clit, threatening and receding, prodding and receding. The second he touches my clit or pushes inside me, I'll fly tumbling over the edge.
Oh, boy.
I haven't had sex yet. Again.
No.
And I think that was probably the most exciting for me, too, because it's not like her just talking about how he has a penis and she has a vagina.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot more to it,
have
kids.
Sex like that. Exactly. There's a lot more to the pleasure aspect to it. And I think if I liked anything, it was that they touched on that.
Yeah. Here is a moment where I was very confused at first read and had to like read it back a few times. And this is when this is when they're bringing anal play in. And she says, I'm moaning and writhing against his chest as he hides 3 more items inside my body, then crushes me to him, filling his hands with my tits. And now I'm pretty sure this is where he's putting in anal beads.
Yep.
But they don't actually say that though until he's pulling them out.
Nope.
So they say putting 3 more items in. And then before that, again, stroking my tunnel as he withdraws and leaving something nestled inside my ass.
Leaving it in.
And I'm just like, what's he leaving? What are these items we putting up in there? But
See, I read this on my iPad, and I left like notes while
Yeah.
like on the Kindle, and so I left a question. It was, does she still have a butt plug in her butt? Because he makes her leave with it inside of her.
Yeah.
And he says, don't touch yourself, don't remove it until tomorrow.
Yep.
I was not okay with that.
Doesn't sound very clean. Like, it sounds very unhygienic.
Do you not think she's a human? Like, do you not think that she, like, not use the restroom? I just don't understand. Like, I felt like that was, like,
yeah.
ugh.
Now, I know we talked about it slightly earlier, but that there was kind of like this misleading dominant submissive relationship between them. Like, what's, going on with that? And he actually has a line that I think sums it up pretty well. And it's near the end of the book, which is why I felt like I was waiting so long for this. But he says to her, your submission is a part of you that doesn't impact your strong beliefs, and you aren't afraid to tell me what you think of me, not from the instant we met. And I liked that because I think a lot of people, when they think about dominant submissive, they have like a very specific idea of what that looks like. Yeah. And he tells her like, hey, you can be strong and tell me, what you like and what you don't like about me and what I'm doing, but that, you can also be submissive. That's okay.
Yeah.
So, I did appreciate that. This was a very, like, sex-positive book. I'll give her that.
Yeah, it was. And then I think, like, adding on to that, I think he says that he's been with women, but it's never really worked out because they were submissive in life, like, in real life with him and in the bed, and it just wasn't the same because he felt they weren't being true to themselves. And I think with Georgia Jury, he actually feels like she's being herself. And I do, too. I'll take it.
Although I don't know if I like herself.
No, yeah. Oh, God, I like her.
But as long as somebody does.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It only takes one person to love you.
True.
Here's what we can do, is let's give this book the grading that it deserves. So we're going to give it 3 grades out of 10, 10 being the very best that it could possibly be, a grade for story, a grade for syntax, and a grade for the sexcapades.
Okay.
So fire when ready.
Story-wise, I'd give it like an 8. And I'll give it an 8 because it was a fun story.
Okay.
It was really short, and so like the fact that it went right into it, I really appreciated.
Yeah.
And I almost like that it wasn't just about like love and romance, because I feel like it could be overly cheesy sometimes, and that's kind of what steered me away from romance novels. So the fact that it was kind of like pro-sex and like welcoming that side of you and like
I love that you loved this.
I did so for that and like the craziness, just like it was a crazy ride, so I'll give it an 8.
Okay, that's fair. I gave it a 7. So, I mean, we're definitely in the same ballpark. Like, I just graded it down because I felt like there was definitely a divide between the first and the second half.
Yeah.
That was like one of my main issues. But other than that, I mean, I thought it was a well-contained story. I didn't see enough of them falling in love, which was a problem for me. Because if you're getting married, like at the end of the book, I need to know that you're in love. And I would have loved if it ended with them just being like, hey, we're going to start dating. Like, that would have been enough for me.
It would have been plenty.
It definitely would have been plenty. So, but other than that, it's quick, it's easy, it's dirty as hell. So I'm all for it. How about syntax? Miss Mia Madison's writing. What do you think?
I'll give it an 8 too. I felt like some of it, and it kind of was like the cheesy part too, just like being a romance novel. But just that, I don't know, I just appreciated how she described things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Like, the characters, like, there's just not enough time to get to know each and every one of them. But I felt like I got a good sense of Georgia Jury and just how she feels as a woman. As a sexual.
And that's what matters, because it's her story, it's her point of view, right? I mean, we want to know her. I'm with you. I gave it a 7. Again, like I really...
It's like the same.
Yeah, I really do enjoy Mia Madison's writing. She's got those descriptions that are so good. And for me, what would grade it down is the character. It was inconsistent for me. Like, sometimes I wanted to punch Georgia in the face. Sometimes I was like, damn, girl, you go. Like, so it was not always consistent for me. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I think she's a really great writer.
Same.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
And how about the sexcapades?
I don't know. I'm so like torn about it. I almost want to like downgrade it just because it's like, if it's not going to happen to me, it's not worth it.
Hey,
I take it back. No,
it could happen to you. Anything is possible.
I give it like an 8.5 for sure. It was, like I said, it was like a fun read. And it gave me some ideas for the bedroom. So.
Well, there you go.
I don't know. I give it 8.5.
I gave it a solid 10.
Oh, 10? All right.
I was like, I don't know if you can do raunchier or dirtier than this book. Like, in 100 pages, no less. There was a lot of it. There was a variety of it. I mean, whether it's your kink or not, like, it's a lot, and it is sexy. So I'm all for it. 10.
Great. I love it.
All right, good stuff. Well, and you've touched on this as we've been discussing, but post-read, are you happy that you had this experience reading this book?
I am. I think it's, like, I hate to say that it was funny to me, but it kind of was funny.
That's okay.
Like, just a lot of the moments, like, they literally had me laughing out loud. One, because I couldn't believe the scenario, or two, I was just, like, either really angry at Georgia Jury or just disgusted by Mr. Wellman.
I like that you say her full name, by the way. Georgia Jury.
Georgia Jury.
Georgia Jury.
Well, yeah. I like her name.
Yeah.
I no regrets at all. And I think
Great.
the funniest part reading this was while I was reading it, like, my boyfriend would see what I was reading, just, like, glance over once in a while. And each page that or each line or sentence he read just kept getting dirtier and dirtier.
Of course.
And, it was just a funny conversation.
It's like if you're watching a movie and then, like, the minute the sex scene comes on TV is, like, when the parents walk in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of moments like that.
Yeah, especially with this book.
I know, there wasn't a page where there wasn't anything dirty.
Yeah, that's true. I know, for sure. Even when they're not having sex, there's just always something going on.
Yeah.
And so that being said, do you think that you would read another romance novel?
For sure. I think I need to go back to my original, like, some kind of, like, sci-fi romance.
Okay.
Just because I'm curious to how those two worlds will come.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to them.
How they'll what? How they'll what?
Come together.
Oh, okay.
Like,
How they'll come.
Oh, exactly. That's exactly. There's only so much that could happen.
Well, who knows? I mean, you throw in
Aliens and
sci-fi,
humans.
like, anything can happen.
True. You never know what species you're going to be messing with.
Could be. What about, do you think you would read another Mia Madison novel?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's another one.
Yeah, there's a Bossy Christmas Party 2.
Yeah,
Although
there
I
we
think
go.
it is a standalone book. I don't think it's like this couple. I think it's like a whole other couple.
Which I would still read.
Yeah.
I'm honestly curious. It was like a short read, a fun read. And since if she has another one, I'd most definitely read that one.
I would too. I definitely would. So I think we should both check out Bossy Christmas Party 2.
Agreed.
Happy holidays. Now's the time where we set aside the book and we dive back into the holiday spirit. And I always like to play some sort of little game, activity, whatever it might be with my guests, just to cleanse our palate. Since the majority of this book takes place at an office holiday party where George's colleagues get schmammered, as people often do at holiday parties, I asked Raquel if we could each come up with a naughty holiday drink recipe to share with you all, perfect for your seasonal festivities. And we scoured the web and we came up with some delicious concoctions for you all to try, starting with...
I found something very appropriate for the holidays. It's called the Naughty Frosty.
Perfect. And what makes Frosty so naughty?
It looks like a glass of cum, but no, don't put that on there.
Oh, I think we should.
Basically, it's like a Bailey's drink, but with white chocolate, and so it's like a white mocha, chocolate mocha, white chocolate mocha. Oh my god, I get that.
Too many mimosas for Raquel.
Too many. But with like a shot of Bailey's and a scoop of vanilla bean ice cream. So it sounds really good.
So is it a hot drink that then has like a scoop of ice cream in it and it like gets all melty?
No, it's like a cold drink.
Okay.
It's like a cold Frosty.
I'm all about it.
With alcohol.
That sounds fantastic. And we can post the actual recipe on Twitter and on Instagram and everything so everybody can take a look at them as well.
That looks really simple.
Super good. Mine is also simple. It's only got 4 ingredients. It also kind of looks like a glass of cum, all cloudy, you might say. And that's because it has got creme de cacao, maraschino liqueur, heavy cream, and maraschino cherries. Ew. And we call this delicious treat Angel's Tit.
Angel's Tit.
Angel's Tit. I mean, I guess it's because there's a cherry in it, so it's kind of like that's the nipple, maybe. But honestly, it looks absolutely disgusting, but I am like so excited to make it and try it.
Yeah, no, I would still try it for sure.
Yeah.
A name like that, why not?
So we've got the hookup for you if you're making anything for like a white Winterland themed holiday extravaganza, Angel's Tit or Naughty Frosty.
Exactly.
And as we already mentioned, today is the third day of Boobsmas, which means it is time for another giveaway. We've selected one lucky winner from our Twitter contest, so be sure to follow us on Twitter at Boobie Podcast in order to qualify for all upcoming giveaways. You can also follow us on Instagram as well at Boobie Podcast. So today's winner, drumroll please, is the Friends Talking Nerdy podcast. Yay!
Fun.
I know it sounds great, doesn't it, just from the title?
I like it.
Yeah, so congrats to another one of our podcasts that we love, Friends Talking Nerdy podcast. You have got a nice little holiday care package coming your way, including a blind date with a book. And Raquel has selected the book you will be reading. Give us that description, won't you, Raquel?
I think it sounds really sweet. Homespun holiday cheer. Two families discover the joy of hope and redemption.
Oh.
Right? Sounds sweet.
Yeah, so maybe not Bossy Christmas Party.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not Bossy Christmas Party, but enjoy your reading Friends Talking Nerdy podcast. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and we will call it a day from there.
Sweet. Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
That's good.
You made me feel comfortable, so.
Yes, just like the holidays.
Exactly.
Perfect. That's all I'm trying to do. So have a great holiday, Raquel, and thanks for joining us.
You too.
Merry Christmas to everyone out there, and to all a good dicking. On the third day of Boobsmas, my lover gave to me 3 butt plugs. Play us out, Cooper.
On the third day of Boobsmas, my lover gave to me 3 butt plugs, 2 nipple clamps, and a hot hookup underneath